The National September 11th Memorial is a tribute of remembrance to the World Trade Center, Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and the Pentagon, as well as the 6 people killed in the World Trade Center bombing in February of 1993. For more than 5 years and with unprecedented access to the site, a documentary chronicles the building of the 9/11 Outdoor Memorial Plaza, telling the story behind one of the most overlooked aspects of the memorial, the trees. This film tells the story of the 400 swamp white oaks that make up one of the city's largest urban forests and depicts the emotional story of life returning to Ground Zero.
The thing that made me cry was the trees. It was the first sign of life here.
Life does rise from this rubble, from this mess.
We're restoring ourselves. We're coming back. We're in New York. And these trees bring that sense of restoration and serenity here.
The director of The Trees, Scott Elliott, and the executive producer, Catherine Drew, join me now to talk about this. Welcome to both of you. It's a marvelous film. For those of us who lived through this, who were down at the site shortly thereafter and have been able to see what has taken place, the resurrection of this site, I think is especially moving. I'm going to ask you both the same question, because you're filmmakers, you come to things from different directions. What was it, Scott, that drew you to this particular story of the trees?
Yeah, well, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a New Yorker, and like many great things in New York, it all started on the subway for me. I ran into a friend of a friend who was a landscape architect, and he was working on the project and told me the story of the trees. And I didn't know anything about it, and he said that the trees were all found in a 500-mile radius of New York City in the areas where the attacks happened, so around Pennsylvania, around Maryland, Virginia, D.C., and so, to me, there was immediately this sort of symbolic and metaphorical significance to the trees that I just found really interesting and didn't know about. And so I went down to the tree farm where they were growing the trees in New Jersey and just started filming. And some amazing people working on the project, and it just really drew me in. And I was also in New York on 9/11, so a few blocks away up in Chelsea working. And so, I'd always wanted to do a project about 9/11. So this was, to me, a story that I hadn't heard before, and I thought would be a good one to tell.
Catherine, how about you? What drew you to it?
I think it's so rare to be able to chronicle history in the making in a film, and that it's what Scott did. That he set out, probably not that he was going to take 5 years to chronicle that area. But I think it's like that as human beings, it's why we were all drawn to that movie Boyhood a couple years ago, because it chronicled a life over time. And I think this film has significance even going forward. It will mark that area of the city historically, and 5 years from now, 10 years from now, if Scott wants to revisit part of his film, the trees will have grown. And the concrete in the area and the new subway station and the Freedom Tower will all look the same. But the trees will tell us that time has gone by, and that it's a metaphor for what we care about as human beings. It's a life force. Look how far we've come since they were first planted there.
Scott, as a director, you have a vision here, and that vision is unfolding as you shoot.
Yeah.
The trees, I've seen them described as both the main characters of this film and as the storytellers of this film. What do you think about that? Being described as the storytellers.
I think that's exactly what I tried to do. And I mean, they're very much the central characters. And, I originally intended to sort of follow a couple of the actual trees, because they're numbered, from the very beginning where they were found all the way into the city. And that, with 400, proved too difficult to do. But they're very much, the central character. And then I kind of consider the humans who are caring for them and designing the memorial and planting the trees as sort of the supporting characters who are, making it all happen. So yeah, that's a nice way of putting it.
The arborist who's at the center of the film, who cares for the 400, he refers to them as his children. And when they're being moved into the plaza, that he views it as his kids going away to college. And then for him to bring later on in the film, toward the end, his own children to see his masterwork, I think it's like if someone does a painting or I'm sure architects, building architects feel that way. But it's so emotional to see how people are moved by something that was destroyed and coming back. And I want to focus on the survivor tree.
I was going to ask you about that.
The survivor tree,
so
especially.
people might not remember and not know. Tell us about the survivor tree, its history, and why it's so special here.
Well, I'll let Scott tell because he's the father. But it was the last living thing to come out of Ground Zero, and nursed back to health, scars and all. But I'll
Talk
let
about
you.
it
Yeah,
from a filmmaker's perspective.
Yeah, from a filmmaker's perspective, The Survivor Tree is just an amazing story, and I kind of got in right at the exact right time. So to step back, The Survivor Tree was the last living thing to come out of the site, and some of the workers down at Ground Zero about a month after the attacks noticed this stump with a few leaves on it, and they said, whoa, that might be alive. It looked dead. It was about 8 feet tall. It was previously 30 feet tall. It had all of its limbs sheared off in the attack. And they brought down some people from the Parks Department who looked at it and said, yeah, this tree's alive. Let's try and nurse it back to health, see what happens. So they took it out of Ground Zero, took it up to the Bronx, to the citywide nursery, and for 7 years it was cared for lovingly by a couple of workers up there, and one of whom, Richie Cabo, I feature in the film and sort of follow his story. And so when I first filmed The Survivor Tree, it was up in the Bronx, and it was about 4 months before they moved it back. So I got to film it there while it was sort of still growing, get the story of it, and then I was there to follow it as they drove it down through the city and replanted down at Ground Zero. And it's one of my favorite scenes from the film. It's sort of my I don't know, poem to New York as the film, drives through the Bronx and Manhattan and down.
It's coming home.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fabulous film. It really is, and so many great messages coming out of this. Congratulations to both of you for doing some marvelous work.
Thank you.
Compelling and evocative and a wonderful story. Great work, guys.
Thanks, Joe.